So, what Andy wanted me to talk about was what the topic was what makes the Alliance great, what makes me great. And I thought, I'm not great. Like, I'm still trying to get there, right? So what I thought I'd share is stuff that I see in other people that are pursuing greatness. Because really, that's what we're doing. We're pursuing it. It's something we're getting after. But let me tell you a truth about greatness. Greatness is simply a choice of behaviors. That's all it is. Like, people that you look at and you're awed with, I'm awed with this person, I'm awed with that person, that's just someone that's behaving better in a few key areas of life than you are. That's it. They've just made a choice to behave better in a few key areas of life, and that produces what you look at and you go, man, they're awesome. They're just simply behaving better in a few key areas of life. That's it. It's like these people that are super fit, and they say annoying stuff like, nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. Like, that is not true. Yeah. I mean, you have not been to Rocky's Hot Chicken Shack near my house if you think that that's true. What those people should really say is, nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. Right? 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 I mean, is that right? Right? Because they're convincing themselves. Does that make sense? They're convincing themselves. They're just behaving better in that area of life than I am. And so when it comes to greatness, that's all it is. When you're trying to become great at something, you just have to choose different behaviors. And so that's what I thought I'd talk about this afternoon. It's behaviors that I see Andy embody. Behaviors I see Andy exemplify. Those behaviors, that's what produces that picture that I look at and I go, Andy is a great man. A definition of greatness I saw that I really like is, greatness is not determined by an act, but by the ledger of a man's daily life. And so when I look at Andy, I say he's a great man because of the ledger of his daily life. And so that's what I thought I'd talk about this afternoon. Some of those things. Let me tell you something. When it comes to any of these things I talk about, a very dangerous word is can't. I can't do that. I can't do that. Let me tell you something about can't. Can't is simply the word won't in pretty clothes. Can't is just won't dressed up, made to look better. But be clear, at the end of the day, can't is just won't. If it is a behavior and you say can't, it's just won't. There are some things you can't do, like I can't be 7 foot tall. But when it comes to behavior, there are no can'ts. I just can't do that. Nope. Just start saying I won't. That's what I try to do. Anytime I catch myself dropping a can't, I go, nope, Davies, you just won't. So let's do it. Play the role until you become the role. That's what it's about with behavior. Play the role until you become the role. All right, so here's a number one behavior I see in Andy, and I see in great people. They stay stable-ish. Everybody that you look at and go, that person's so stable, add a ish at the end. Because we're all just stable-ish. The key with people that you look at as great, though, they're stable-isher. They're stable-isher. They stay stable. Here's one thing that they do, that they don't do. They don't waste emotion on the trivial or the uncontrollable. I've never seen Andy waste emotion on the trivial or the uncontrollable. Do you know how Andy handles both? Yeah. It doesn't waste emotion on it. You see these people that waste emotion on everything. Oh my God. Anybody relate to people like that? What's the thing that upsets them the most? Everything upsets them the most. We were at a family deal because someone died. You know how you get together with family. And we're going to go to breakfast. And there's great debate over where breakfast will go. And it's all places that people with no money would name, like Denny's or International House of Pancakes. And there's this debate. And one of my uncles goes, over my dead body, are we going to International House of Pancakes? And I just thought, wow, what an incredibly humorous waste of emotion. You have these over my dead body people in your life? Over my dead body. So I have this thing called sketch comedy coping mechanism syndrome. That's where when I don't want to deal with something, I turn it into sketch comedy in my head. So all I can picture is my uncle. Now every time I see him, all I can picture is, it was either 6 feet under or eggs over my hammy. You know what choice I made. Over my dead body. There are very few things. You know a key to a long life? Have very few hills worth dying on. That's the key to a long life. Key to a happier life. And you know what that does for people like Andy? It helps them rebound quicker. They don't hold on to. They don't miss stuff that ain't missing them. They don't try and carry the past into the future. They leave it behind. And that's how they stay stable-isher. Number 2, great people stay grateful. They stay grateful. Staying grateful is not hard to do. It just takes discipline. I'm just like you. I lose my gratitude, and then I got to get it back. Think about the things we have to be grateful for. I was thinking about this earlier. I was texting back and forth with Holly, my wife, my lovely, lovely wife. And I was thinking, man, you know what I'm grateful for in this moment? I'm grateful that I'm not a panda bear. So grateful I'm not a panda bear. Do you know why I'm grateful I'm not a panda bear? Because male and female panda bears look exactly alike. It's a fact. I read it in my Ranger Rick magazine. I get it quarterly. If I was a panda bear, all I'd have to look forward to getting home to is a little more me. And I wouldn't want to chase me around the house. You know what I'm saying? It's not hard to take grateful. Just take some time. I mean, it's ridiculous that someone that has gotten into as much trouble as I have has a $100,000 car. It's crazy. I mean, me and the principal at my high school were on a first name basis. I'd walk in, he'd be like, Steven, like, Walter? What's it today? I still remember the time that we filled all the bus mufflers with chalk from building trades. You know, the red and blue Snap-A-Line chalk? We filled up all the bus mufflers and we rotated red and blue. So then at 2:30 when all the buses started, Walter actually cracked a smile about that one. He was like, you know what I got to do, right? And I'm like, oh, I get it. You know, I could use a couple days off anyway. So stay grateful. There's always something to be grateful for. If you ever struggle, just think about the fact that you woke up. Think about the fact you live on planet Earth. I don't know if you know much about the universe, but it pretty much sucks for everywhere else in the universe. If you ever struggle with gratefulness, just think about the fact that you have graduated the food chain. Do you know how big that is? Everything else pretty much dies by getting eaten. You're never in line at Starbucks and wondering if there's a predator lying in the bushes. If it runs off and you get bitten, you get eaten and you die. See, we just get to die. That's pretty cool. We don't get chased down and eaten, most of us anyway. Here's another thing I notice about great people. They stay hungry. They stay hungry. And let me tell you something. That's a discipline. You think Andy was born different because he's so hungry. You think Paul Roberts was born different because he stays so hungry. I think Andy must be born different because he's so hungry. It's a discipline. It's a chosen discipline. And it's a discipline you need to keep moving the right way. And it's not just business, it's your marriage. You ever want your marriage to go the other way? Stop staying hungry for a great marriage. Because when you stop doing that, you stop doing the stuff that someone that's hungry for a great marriage would do. Stop leaving love notes. Stop buying flowers. Well, why? Because I guess I'm not hungry for a great marriage anymore. But it's the same thing with business. Stay hungry. It's a discipline. And let me tell you something. It takes a ton of humility to stay hungry. Everybody wants to be king of the hill. If you're king of the hill, then the mountain's too small. If you're king of the hill you're on should have been left a long time ago. When Mark Hutchison they have a beautiful home up on Pax Mountain. When I saw that home, I was like, God, I hope he stays hungry. Because it's a discipline. People think then, if then I will. No, let me tell you something. Then is just another mile marker onto never. Then is just another mile marker on the way to never, my friend. I've been working on my John Maxwell impression lately. It's getting pretty good. Let me tell you something. Staying hungry is a discipline because it only gets harder with amenities. Like, blows my mind when broke people have a hard time leaving the house. I mean, like, dang, dude, you live with your parents. You can't get motivated to get the heck out of there? I got a cousin like that. I'm like, man, I'd be the most motivated somebody if I had to bring my wife home to my childhood bedroom. It makes no sense. What are you gonna do? Stay home all day and watch your parents' Netflix account? Like, I've got amenities. I want amenities like Andy's amenities, though. So I've got to stay hungry. Does that make sense? That's why it's a discipline. It's not something you're going to get when it catches you. It's a choice to go, I'm going to stay hungry. Here's what else I see. They stay humble. I was talking to a guy the other day that knows everything. Yeah, I know. I was like, I can't believe I got to meet the guy that knows everything. We've been on a search for you. We heard of one in ancient history. We've been looking for another one, and now I run into you. Can't wait to tell the fellas about this one. Oh, they're never going to believe it. And every fiber of my being, Hindu, just wanted to go, if you were this great, don't you think you'd be wearing better clothes? At least more expensive ones? Don't you think you'd be a little further along? Let me tell you something. Staying humble will keep you happy. Humble people are happy. Guess who's not happy? Haughty people. Why? Because nobody recognizes their greatness. Haughty people, so entitled. When you try to work with an entitled person, it's like talking to a wall. Stay humble because it keeps you coachable. Let me tell you what happens to folks. I see it all the time. I've seen it over 20 years a ton. They get in, they're broke, they don't know anything, and they're scared to death, and they listen to everything and they do everything. But dadgummit if they don't have it all figured out all of a sudden. Same person. And here's what happens. They'll grow like crazy, and then they just begin a slow decline. Because they know everything. They know everything about their business. And then they know everything about your business, too. I had a guy one time say, well, that's only because in your business. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What does your business? What are you talking about? And then they know everything about Andy's business, how it runs. By God, you give them long enough, they're going to figure out integrity too. You're just not going to grow coachable. Let me tell you something. Staying humble keeps you curious. We got a whole world of people out there that are furious. Being furious is a sign of ignorance. Let me tell you something. There's be a bunch of dumb, old, angry people because of how angry people stay. Stay curious. Being humble keeps you curious. Why can you be curious if you're humble? Because if you're humble, you're not the true north. Everything you think and believe isn't the true north. So you can stay curious. Being humble also keeps you compassionate. Why? Because if you and I keep realizing the work in progress that we actually are, we can have more compassion for people that are on the journey with us. We won't look down at people, we'll look up at people. But staying humble is key to that. Let me tell you something else. Staying humble keeps you funny. You ever hang around a haughty person? Whew. I mean, I'd rather slide down a mountain of broken glass into a pool of lemon juice and hang out with haughty people. You know, it's just like, this is draining. You know, you have to make a choice at the top of that mountain and be like, hang out with him, do this. Woo! Yeah, if you want to be fun and funny, stay humble. Stay humble. But I'm telling you, I see that in great people. I see it in people like Andy. Let me tell you something else I see. They stay in touch with reality. They stay in touch with reality. It's never as good, it's never as bad. We're never as good, we're never as bad. Reality is always somewhere in the middle. And let me tell you something about reality. It takes help to stay in reality. That's one of the things I respect the most about Andy. He keeps people around him to help him keep in touch with reality. You look at the people he brings in. They help him stay in touch with reality. That's a sign of greatness. What's a sign of weakness? I don't need those people. I don't need people speaking to my life. I'm the one that speaks into others' lives. That's what I do now. Oh, no, people don't speak into my life anymore. I am the speaker into others' lives. That's what I do. That person's never going to be great. That's one of the things I respect the most about Andy. You know how easy it would be for Andy to be like, I don't need any outside input. I am the input. So it always mystifies me when I see someone driving an old beat-up car and they don't need any input. Seek out that input, but be careful when you seek out input. Because here's the other thing I know about people that are great. They are very careful about the influences in their life. Who's a broke person's number one counselor? Themselves. Number two, the broke spouse that lives with them. Number three, well, these are all in pretty close order after that. The broke parents, the broke neighbor, the broke friend, the broke... Let me tell you something. I have a list of people I don't want in my life. So sometimes I'll pull out my list and I'll be like, feels very strongly about everything. I'm sorry, but you're on the list of people that I'm not allowed to hang out with. You see what I'm saying? Andy's taught me to be very, very careful about that, the influences I let into my life. Let me tell you something else about great people. They stay loyal. They stay loyal. Loyalty's a choice. Loyalty is a choice. Let me tell you something about loyalty. It's easy to stay loyal if you keep in mind what you ask for and what you want. Here's where people get in trouble. They want grace and tolerance towards them, but they demand perfection from their leaders. Here's where marriages get in trouble. They want grace and tolerance towards them, but they want perfection from their spouse. I had a buddy I played hockey with, had that happen to him. It's a beautiful match. A good young man and a psychopath. You know, a real meet cute. She got a hold of him, and she said to change in him. Now, she had to be accepted for who she is, because I'm one of God's creations, and you should accept me for who I am. But we got some work to do on this one. Oh, she messed him up bad, man. Showed up in a hockey locker room dressing like Ricky Martin. We started calling him La Vida Loca on the ice. He stopped playing shortly after that. Don't be one of those people. If you want grace, ask for grace. Because let me tell you something, your upline, no matter how amazing their business is an imperfect person. It's not hard to stay loyal when you're giving grace and asking for grace. Let me tell you something else. I talked about that ledger earlier. When you focus on the ledgers as a whole and not on the line item, it's easy to stay loyal. When you stay grateful, when you stay humble, all the other things I talked about, it's not hard to stay loyal. When I look at what Andy Albright has done, I look at even just something, just one piece. I look at the premium finance. I was looking at that before I left. You know, outside of all the money I make, Andy's putting over $1 million a year into my Index Universal Life? I mean, it's crazy. Well, Holly and I, outside of all the money we've got and all the money we will yet make, because of Andy, when we turn 65, there's $3 million plus tax-free money a year. A year. Did Andy have to do that? No. Did Andy have to make the integrity partnership possible? No. These are the things he does because it's the last thing I'm going to tell you about great people. They live life with a firm determination to leave everybody they find better off than they found them. That's what I see in people like Andy. That's what I see in other great people. And I got to tell you, I get up every day just going, I can't believe they let me hang out with them too. Guys, I'll chat with you a little bit later. Love y'all.